And now it's time for your viewer comments. Let's begin with Everyday Watch Guy. Hypothetical. For the next year, you can choose to wear or keep as many Casio models that are released during that time as you want, or choice of wear or keep only one Rolex sports watch, stainless steel sports watch model the entire year. What would you pick and why? Kind regards. So what will it be? Rolex or G-Shock? For me, it's going to be G-Shock all the way. It may sound illogical, especially knowing the values of Rolexes in our current market, but G-Shock has always been, to me at the very least, a much more interesting brand than Rolex. One, because they've always been doing interesting stuff and upgrading their model lineups constantly with many different technologies and interesting designs. Second, they also have an artisan branch, which is the MRG lineup, wherein they're doing some spectacular and tremendous work when it comes to hand finishing and artistic expression when it comes to their watches. Also, if you're looking at the value side of the proposition, I'm going to have a ton of really cool looking limited editions, especially for this upcoming year with the 40th anniversary editions. And this will, in some ways, be more valuable than any Rolex watch that you could think of, because we're comparing a whole collection opposed to just one. Now, we are going to have to consider also that G-Shock is also capable of producing some really high value and high quality pieces, such as that all solid gold full metal square that was released as a commemoration of the original G-Shock. And that alone was $75,000 on retail, and it's now pitching multiples of that value at the moment. So they are also capable of really high-end values. You just have to pick which collection you have. Jesse ponders, I wonder what people think of us when they see us taking pictures of our wrists. Well, that's a very good question. Now, if you go into Instagram and you see all of those foodie shots, it's something that's really not new to the public now. Maybe back in a few years ago, it kind of looks awkward and you may even be embarrassed to take photos while others are looking, but nowadays it's really just normal. But let's have a little bit more fun with this. I asked some of the YouTube enthusiasts what they think about this very same question. Let's take a look.
Oh, Design Atelier is here in the house and he has a question.
What do you guys think people are thinking about us when we take wrist shots in public? Well, probably they think you are just taking a selfie like everybody else.
Everybody's staring at their smartphones.
Yeah.
They're not looking at other people anymore. Yes.
I think it's really part of the norm now. People just taking random photos of themselves. I think they don't even think about whatever.
I tried not to do my wrist shots in public. So. I'm trying to get around the problem.
You don't want to be too nerdy in public.
Well, I'm nerdy enough without wrist shots, I would say, but that's okay.
Catch up here. Design Atelier, great to see you. When people see us taking wrist shots in public, what do you think they are thinking about? They think that we're crazy, probably. I mean, if you're in New York, no one notices anything you do. But yeah, I was at a bar last night with a viewer. Turned out to be a great dude. Had a great time drinking and shooting the shit about watches and various other things. And there was a table right next to us. They were looking.
Okay, let's pause there for a moment. When Oshin starts to talk about bars, dinners, and wine, you know it's going to take him around 4 hours to finish his story. But we get the point. Let's move on.
Design Atelier. when we take wrist shots in public, what you think people are thinking? I don't think people have any bearing on okay, here's honestly what I think. I think people around you don't pay attention to what you're doing as much as you think they do. That's like the big truth bomb I can give you. I don't think people pay attention to what you're doing that much. It used to weird me out when I was in public, like shooting something or like trying to get a quick sneaky shot. And now I'm like, people really don't pay attention to me because they might look at me and think like, oh, what's he doing? And then like they'll be too concerned with how people are viewing them, and then they move on with their life. So I don't think people really care.
Design will tell you, Paul, when we take wrist shots in public, what do you think people are thinking? Do you know what, Jason? That's a really good question. I was out in Brighton just yesterday, and I was like this. And no, I tell you where I was. I was in the Apple store looking at the new Apple phone, the iPhone 14. And I'm testing the camera, and people are looking at me thinking, this bloke's a bit weird. So they probably think we're a bit weird, mate, to be fair. Yeah, they probably think we're a bit strange.
So there you go. It's either there's like millions of crazed lunatics out there with expensive watches, or just like what I said in the beginning, people just don't pay attention to us taking screenshots or wrist shots in public. What I would say that probably people won't be thinking is that you're not going to crap out that Daytona a few hours after that wrist shot. Unlike, of course, that filet mignon that you just took a bite of. And finally, Cosmodoc says you cannot use a Rolex ad from Britain to show the correct pronunciation of Submariner. Rolex is a Swiss brand, so you should use a Swiss or German ad. Well, I went to Rolex website and I changed it to English to German, and I still found the same British speaking ad. So I tried long and hard to actually find any German speaking Rolex ad with the Submariner on it, and I couldn't find any. So I went to the next best thing and actually looked for some German speaking YouTubers and how they pronounce Submariner. Many of them still pronounce Submariner, but lo and behold, Cosmodoc might be onto something. This YouTuber actually pronounced it as Submariner. Take a listen.
Schöne Rolex, und zwar Submariner. Mal gucken, ob wir sehen können so ein bisschen mehr. Submariner.
Okay, let's freeze it right there. But look closely at this German YouTuber's forearm, and I was surprised what I found. Let's zoom in a little bit closer, and there you go. It's actually a Davy Jones tattoo. What does this mean? This can only mean one thing, that this German YouTuber is also a pirate. Now this opens up a whole new dilemma for Cosmodoc, whether he should be trusting this Arubian Filipino pirate about how to pronounce the Submariner, or this German YouTuber who idolizes Davy Jones on how to pronounce it in the German language, at least for his pirate tongue, the Submariner. I'll leave Cosmodoc to decide on this one.